Teenager who fatally stabbed a fellow student during a high school track meet in Texas was sentenced tonight to 35 years in prison. It came just hours after a jury found 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony guilty. The case inflamed racial tensions and gained national attention as people gathered outside the courthouse, prompting a heavy police presence. Austin Metcalf from a rival high school was killed in April of last year near Dallas. Anthony's attorneys argued the stabbing was self-defense.
To be honest, why are we here? What are we here for? Because if we take up for ourselves, we go to jail. If we don't, we die. So it's a catch-22 in this situation. What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for it. I don't know what to do.
Tonight, emotions boiling over outside the courthouse. Protesters in each other's faces, some openly weeping. And for others, relief that justice was served.
You think this is justice for Austin?
I believe so.
As a Texas jury finds 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony guilty of murder for stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet last year.
You will never, ever disrespect a black woman like that.
Numerous witnesses said Anthony instigated the confrontation, the prosecution calling his actions unjustified and intentional, telling the jury, you don't get to meet a shove with a stab, especially if you provoke the shove. In closing arguments Tuesday, the defense again tried to portray Metcalf as the aggressor, that he made physical contact first, and Anthony defended himself in a split second of chaos. What was it like?
What was it like?
When the verdict was read.
I feel like it was designed to protect white people, the system, and it was not designed to protect black people. It's self-defense.
Supporters of Anthony have raised concerns for a fair trial after no black people were seated on the jury. Inside the courtroom, tears from both families. Anthony's mother described as weeping, later asking the court to please have mercy on my son.
So Karmelo Anthony was found guilty in the murder of Austin Metcalf. He was sentenced to 35 years, and he has to do at least 17 and a half of those before he's eligible for parole. They brought up the sudden passion claim with the sentencing, and the jury rejected it. The thing about this case, I feel like it was overcharged, but Texas state law says that a person can premeditate killing someone in a split second. So they take out the passion, the sudden passion, and they go straight to a person can suddenly decide, they can suddenly premeditate murder. So with just the details of the case, even if they didn't want to do the self-defense claim, I feel like it was, manslaughter. Yeah, I would even went with involuntary manslaughter, but they went with first-degree murder. They didn't do murder two. They went for the highest extent. They really wanted to get rid of the young boy. They really wanted to get rid of him. I feel like the appeal process will be immediate. It should be immediate. And they have a claim of an unfair trial because it wasn't a jury of his peers. They had 3 black jurors that they purposely kicked off the panel because they were, I think they said they were educators. So we'll have to see what's going to happen next with this particular situation. But I do think his appeal should be approved, and maybe he can get a retrial, and they can get some black jurors. I mean, I think now they have to get black jurors, and I think it sends a bad message to the country that, in all of these different cases, a black child, you can't defend yourself against adults. You can't defend yourself against peers. When, you had testimonies. Check out my last video going through the testimony from the person that was his so-called friend, the Eddie guy. I think he's a Hispanic, but he told the cops initially that Karmelo was attacked by Austin, and he came at Austin. Austin came at Karmelo Pause with such force that he pushed him back, and he was surrounded by 4 guys, and it was a sudden passion that you don't know he feared for his life. He was a small kid with 4 large guys surrounding him, and he just pulled his weapon and stuck the guy and got out of there. That's cut and dry, either self-defense, or if you're gonna have to give him a guilty verdict, that's sudden passion. So I think he was overcharged. It was his constitutional rights were violated, clear as day. So they have to do get on the appeal process. I do feel like the defense attorney was not. He wasn't that good. I don't feel like he did enough of getting into the character of Austin to paint the picture that Austin was a menace. We've heard a lot of things that came out about Austin. I know he's a child that passed, and a lot of people feel like, maybe they don't want to, speak ill of a kid. But this is a murder case that could take one young man's life. One kid was taken. Now we're going to take a second one. I don't think an eye for an eye in this type of situation is the proper way to handle it. So we'll just see what's going to go on with the case, with the appeal. I think they got to get on it. I think they got to get some better counsel. I feel like it wasn't televised, so we couldn't really see or hear. We had to hear, people taking notes and hear how they felt about the defense attorneys and the prosecution. So I think we have to get. They had the first thing they have to do, and this is I'll close with this. I got 4 points. The first point, I think they have to get a better defense attorney. They have to get better counsel. Secondly, they have to make sure that they have a jury of his peers that represents the community and also represents him, that understands him and his people, his culture, the thought process, and just people that are of the same hue or ethnicity of this person. Third, they have to push to have this televised so that people can see this, so we can see what's going on, because it's going to be civil unrest without being able to see what's exactly going on. So us having to see it secondhand, and then you got people outside of the courtroom, it's going to just be bad. It's going to be bad. And my last point is for black people. We see that this guy's friend, who was supposed to be a key witness, who told the cops one thing and got on a stand and flipped his whole story and acted as if he didn't know Karmelo. When he'd been friends with Karmelo's come to his house. We have no friends. The black and brown coalitions, all of these things, the people of color, the minority coalitions, the people of color coalitions, that doesn't exist when it is for the betterment of a black person. So, in particular, foundational black Americans. So what we learned from this case, and I hope our people is paying attention to this, that we have no friends except each other. So we gotta stay vigilant. We see what time it is. That we can't run away. If you run away, we just saw the kid. He ran away, and they can come up with an excuse to shoot him in the back. If you stand your ground and the guy pulls a gun on you, we see what happened with Trayvon. They could say anything. They could claim anything about a black child, making them fear for their life, and they felt like they were about to die, so they shot him. A black child, a black person, fearing for their life and using force to get away. They didn't strike him to kill. They just struck him just to get him off of him. But it's murder. So we just have to stay strong, and we gotta stay woke, as they say. I hate to use that term, but we gotta stay woke as a people, and we see what time it is. So we see what time it is, and we see what the measures are that we have to take moving forward in these types of situations. So get in the comment section, like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that hype button for your boy. Real ones know. We out. One.
From the mud, now we way up. Count it up to the day up. Real ones never change up. We just stack it, get our weight up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.